It doesn't matter what iPad you have, going from the cheapest to the most expensive M1 iPad Pro will not increase the number of applications that are available to you at a time on the screen. You can have two apps open side by side in a split screen view. And unless you have a 12.9-inch iPad, the two apps will use a compact UI, which is similar to what you would see if you use these apps on an iPhone. On top of that, you can add slide over apps, which are vertical iPhone-like apps and live close to one of the edges of your iPad. You can stack multiple slide over apps on top of each other and switch from one to another by swiping left and right at the bottom edge of the iPad. And once you're done using these slide over applications, you can slide it away from the screen behind the closest edge. The best part of multitasking is to be able to use content from one application into another applications without any issues, and that is possible on the iPads as well. For instance, you can take images from the Photos app and drag it into a text message. Or you can have two instances of the Files app and move the files around from one folder to another. You can add another instance of the Files app as a slide over app and continue organizing your files in folders. Although some applications allow for split screen functionality, they don't allow for multiple instances. For instance, you can only have one instance of the Photos app open at once. And then there's something called center windows. You can open specific content from, let's say, the Mail app into a larger window that will live on top of your split screen. And now you know all the views that exist in iPad multitasking. Let's talk about the multitasking menu that is new in iPadOS 15. The button should show up on all apps that support multitasking. This is a quick way to check if an app allows for split screen multitasking functionality. It presents you with a menu to switch between different multitasking views. The first one being the default full screen. Second one is the split screen view, and then you have a slide over view. To be honest, it's a great feature, but at the beginning it was a little annoying because I had the muscle memory of pulling the notification shade right down the middle, because when you slide down right in the middle, this will initiate your split screen view. This way you can select another app that will open in a multitasking window. Another functionality from this menu is that when you tap on this icon, you also get access to the iPadOS 15 multitasking shelf. The multitasking shelf allows you to manage multiple instances of the apps that support it. You can start a new instance by tapping on the new window icon, or you can pull an existing instance into a split screen window if the app allows for it. This shelf also shows up automatically when you open an app that has an existing instance open elsewhere. One of my favorite methods to pull up this shelf is by using the keyboard shortcut. You can use the globe key and the down arrow key shortcut to pull up the shelf as well. And then you can use the arrow keys to navigate between multiple instances. Speaking of keyboard shortcuts, with iPadOS 15, we got a ton of new keyboard shortcuts. If you want to learn about shortcuts, you can hold the globe key for 3 seconds to learn about universal shortcuts, or you can hold the command key to learn about any app-specific keyboard shortcuts. Or you can use the globe key and the up arrow key to switch to the traditional iOS app switcher. You can quickly switch from full screen to a split screen view by using the globe key, control key, and left or right arrow keys based on where you want to place your application. You can use the command plus space to pull up a spotlight search and search for the application. As soon as you tap on the application icon or you press enter to open the application, it will be chosen as the second application of your split screen view. And similar to how you can switch from full screen apps to split screen, you can switch from a split screen view or from a full screen view directly to a slide over view by hitting the globe key, option key, and then left or right arrow key. You can switch between multiple apps or app pairs with the globe key and left and right arrow keys. Because all of these features are also available with touch gestures. For instance, you can actually slide along the bottom edge of your home screen to achieve the same thing as sliding across app pairs or full screen applications. You can pull up the dock from the bottom edge with a quick swipe up and drag any one of the apps you have on your dock into the split screen view directly. You can even swipe down on the 3 dots on any of the apps to move the app window, or a quick swipe down should minimize the application you have in view and allow you to select a new application for your split screen. You can resize your split screen apps to be in a 1/3 and a 2/3 split instead of the default half and half. You can even create split screen views on the recent app screen. If you have slide over apps already present, you can move an existing app from the recent app screen directly to the slide over view. You can even grab components from one app and drag it out to open it in a new instance of the application if the application supports it. So far so good, right? It's not all roses and rainbows here. There are a few limitations, and let's cover them right now. For starters, having 3 applications is kind of limited. It becomes really annoying if you want to juggle multiple things at once. And then add to that all your apps actually open in a full screen view first. Applications that don't have an iPad app should automatically just open in slide overview. And then there are things that are not a problem with iPadOS, it's just something that we've come to expect from an advanced operating system. On Windows computer, you can enable clipboard history that will continue to monitor your clipboard in the background. Nothing like that is possible on the iPad. But for me, that's part of the charm. I'm not trying to make my iPad a computer replacement. Instead, I'm trying to use it for what it is meant to be. And iPads are really good at being a single task focused machine. And if anything, iPad is getting better, especially with the new note-taking functionality that is available on these iPads. You have access to a quick note that is similar to a floating application, as it can be pulled from a bottom right corner, no matter what application is open in full screen or split screen. And with the most recent iPadOS 15 update, you can even create app pairs using shortcuts. This will allow you to jump into a predefined split screen session without having to set up that session manually every single time. And if you're like me and you believe that some applications should only open in slide overviews, you can also create shortcuts to open them in slide overview directly. One of the weirdest things about using the iPad is that without a keyboard, you don't really have access to spotlight search from any screen. But that can be solved with a simple workaround. I have set the double tap gesture for the assistive touch menu to pull up the spotlight search. This allows me to summon the spotlight search from anywhere, even if I don't have access to the command plus space shortcut to open apps and split screen views. And that's all I have for multitasking. And as I said, it is improving, it is getting better with time, so hopefully next year we can talk about this again. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is Geet.